Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels, a brand new season of our weekly podcast.
Yay. We're back.
We are back with Jill and with Sean.
Hi.
And we've got exciting things happening which we're going to tell you about. And later on I'm going to be talking to Nick Smith, who's the show director of the Harrogate Flower Shows. So we're going to have a chat about their upcoming autumn show in a few weeks' time. But it is good to be back, isn't it, after our little break?
It's fabulous to be back, yeah. We need to say thank you to our sponsor and friends over at Plant Grow. They make a range of multi-purpose composts and mulches and feeds and all sorts of wonderful products that are made sustainably in Norfolk.
Good stuff it is. We use it in the garden.
Yep. Yeah.
So if you're new to our podcast on Pots and Trowels, then welcome to you. And of course, a welcome back to all our regular listeners as well, who we've missed, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have.
But they've been in touch. They have
They
been in
have,
touch.
absolutely, yes.
With little
and
messages,
some of them
which
have
is
been
good.
to the shows that we've been to.
Yeah.
We'll perhaps have a chat about the shows later on. But yes, if you're new to us, then we kind of talk all things gardening. And we're at different levels, aren't we, of gardening expertise. So we're not all
From zero
gardening experts.
all the way up to...
Yeah, I'm kind of maybe half, maybe just
We should be in order.
loitering before half. Well, we're going up.
This
aren't
is
we?
our gardening guru
Oh,
in the
hello,
middle.
Yes.
hello, that's me, yeah. Yeah, but we couldn't do it without you, Sean. You are the techie man as well.
I do a lot
Primo.
of techie stuff and I
Yes.
learn a lot of gardening stuff while I'm here as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do talk about gardening.
Well,
but
I
it's
like to think I'm the
broad.
voice of the
Reason.
normal gardener. If Martin's the expert, then I'm kind of normal, average
And
Joe gardener.
I come in
So
as
am I
the
not
novice.
No,
We've got novice, normal,
yes.
abnormal.
Yeah, that sums
Yeah,
it
I've
up.
been
That's
called
fine.
worse. Yes. And we cover every subject as well, don't we, at the end of the day. And one of the things we love to do more than anything is answer your gardening questions. And we, wherever you are in the world, send us a question and we will have a go at answering it. And there is an email to send that to, isn't there?
Yeah, info@potsandtrowels.com, which
That's
hopefully,
right.
if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see at the bottom of the screen now.
Exactly, yes.
I'm losing my voice.
I know. It's the emotion.
It's the emotion
It's the
thing.
emotion.
I know it's being back. It's being back. And if you need to get in touch in any way, you can either leave us a comment under one of our videos, or if you go to potsandtrowels.com, our website, that's got links to videos, the podcast episodes, and all the ways to contact us. So, yeah.
And we don't just sort of talk gardening amongst ourselves. Every week we interview somebody in the gardening world. So we've interviewed some fantastic people, haven't we, over the last sort of year or so, from specialist growers. So we know a lot of the specialist growers, and we get some really sort of top tips on caring for their plants.
Yes.
And then general horticulturists as well. And one or two sort of well-known people as well, haven't we? We've had a few
the odd
celebs
famous-
on.
Yeah, celebs, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we've had Allett Anderson is one of our Pots and Trowels favourites, isn't she? She's been on a few times. We've had Adam Frost as well. We caught up with him at one of the flower shows. All sorts
Mark
of people.
Lane from the BBC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've got something very exciting coming up next week because we're going to catch up with some of the BBC Beechgrove team. So if any of you watch that television programme, we're going to catch up with George and Carol.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
the yeah, no, I won't make that comment. I was going to say the preferable BBC gardening TV show.
Listen to find out more. But on the subject of our guests, shall we catch up with Nick Smith from the Harrogate Flower Shows? So I'm sitting in this delightful garden at the moment at Newby Hall in North Yorkshire with Nick Smith, who is the show director of the Harrogate Flower Shows. So Nick, thanks for taking time to have a chat to me.
You're very welcome. It's lovely to see you here.
Yeah, and what a beautiful setting. Now, the reason we're at Newby Hall is because you, as the show director, organise 2 shows a year, a spring show and an autumn show. The autumn show is only a few weeks ago, and it's here at Newby Hall, isn't it?
It absolutely is. In these beautiful surroundings, could you get any better for a flower show?
It's wonderful, isn't it? So we're going to talk more about the flower show and what is going to be here later on in September. But just tell us a little bit about the Harrogate Flower Shows and the North of England Horticultural Society, the charity behind it.
So the Harrogate Flower Shows stage 2 events a year, the Spring Flower Show, which is at the Great Yorkshire Showground in the town, in Harrogate, and the Autumn Flower Show here at Newby. And they are staged by a charity called the North of England Horticultural Society. The NEHS, as we call it, was established in 1911, so it's over 100 years old, and it was established to promote and support horticulture specific to the North of England. And that's something 100 years later that we're still doing. And we work that by staging the Harrogate Flower Shows twice a year to invest in horticulture, to make money back for the charity, to allow the charity to give that back, and support gardeners, to support horticulturists, to support anyone that's interested in enjoying the joy of gardening across the north of England.
Yeah, and the two shows have been a firm fixture on the horticultural calendar for many, many, many years. And the show here at Newby is, I always think, like a giant harvest festival.
It is. Well, we always think we're very fortunate because the spring show very much kicks off the season. It's one of the first national shows of the year. And the autumn show sort of tails end the season. So we've got that anticipation at spring, and then we've got that sense of celebration at autumn, to say, this is what we've achieved, look what we've done. Might not have worked, but look, let's just celebrate it anyway. So it's lovely from our point of view to be able to top and tail the season with the shows.
Absolutely, yes. So before we find out exactly what's going to be at the show in a few weeks' time, just tell us a little bit about Nick Smith. How did you get into horticulture?
It's an ominous question, isn't it? I suppose I've always been interested in landscapes and gardens. My father was interested in gardens. My grandfather was a horticulturist. So I've come from a sort of family of people that were interested in the outdoors. So I trained to be a landscape architect many years ago. That was my original training, but there's only so many sort of planting of motorway verges that you can become excited by. So I sort of moved into more heritage sites, heritage landscapes. Worked with sort of places like the National Lottery Fund in redeveloping sites, and it was really that combination of things that brought me to the shores of the flower show and event planning, and it's been an absolutely incredible thing to be able to be part of. It's a lovely, they're lovely shows, they're lovely people, and that celebration, Martin, that celebration of bringing everyone together from different realms of horticulture, different realms of gardening, amateurs, professionals, it's just lovely. It's such a sense of privilege to me to be able to be part of that.
It is a wonderful thing, and you've been here now 11 years, I think, isn't it?
I think that's right, yeah.
That's a lot of shows, and do you find, it's the fact that you're planning it, you're a small team, do you find it's difficult to think of new things? Or I suspect the fact that you've got your landscape hat on as well, in one way, makes it easier to bring in new ideas.
I think it does, but I think by the same principle, I think it's our users or our visitors and our exhibitors that bring in new ideas as well. Because people tend to think sometimes that horticulture is always horticulture. Well, it's not. It changes with fashions, it changes with trends, it changes with need. So I think we're always looking at something different, and that's reflected in things like show gardens at spring. It's reflected in what the specialist societies and nurseries do at autumn. So we've always got something fresh and something different, and I think that's what keeps us in people's minds and keeps people interested in what we're able to achieve here in the north.
Absolutely. So before we chat about the autumn show in a bit more detail, what people can expect to see, what's your garden like at home? Do you manage to find time have you designed it? Do you spend a lot of time in the garden?
I feel as though I'm set up for a fall here. I feel as though I'm set up for a fall. Can I just add, beginning, my lawns are awful.
Because you've got 2 young children and a dog.
There's a lot of footballs on lawns. I did try. We only moved into this house 2 or 3 years ago, so it's been a case of really sort of adapting it to our use. So we're lucky. We live in the North Yorkshire moors, lovely countryside. So I'm very much trying to reflect our environment rather than trying to impose something on it that doesn't work with that. So that means organic to me, which is always nice. More like in the look of organic rather than the growing organic.
Yeah, and I think that's, if you can embrace all that beautiful scenery around you and make it look like your garden just blends into it, that's the skill of being a landscape designer, isn't it?
Well, it is up to the point that the sheep get in. After that, I think we're worried. But yeah, no, it's lovely. And it's lovely to be able to take just some of the little clippets of thoughts and ideas and things that we managed to get at the show and from our charity, to be able to share those back at home and create something that hopefully reflects what our lives need.
Yeah, exactly. Right, well, what we'll do, we'll take a little break, then we'll pop back to you and we'll have a chat about this show.
Well, coming up later on, we're going to not quite cross to the Big Apple, but we've certainly got an Apple-related and New York-related comment
to Apple
address.
Query from the Big Apple.
From the Big Apple. But I just wanted to point out to the people listening that this Nick's not the only person that we know who's done that particular job, is he?
No, I did it before Nick. So I was show director, before Nick. Nick's done it for longer than me. I was involved for 8 years in total. Wow. As the president, then 5 years as show director. And when I left, my job was to appoint Nick, and he's taken the reins ever since and done amazing things.
Definitely no regrets there then.
No. And it's, because we're still involved with the flower shows as well, which is lovely. We still get our little bit of the flower show. And I think it's interesting that Nick was talking about the charity, the North of England Horticultural Society, NEHS, which lots of people used to get mixed up and think we were a health service, but it's the North of England Horticultural Society. And that is essentially what it's about. Without the shows, there isn't the charity. It does feed the charity, and it's been on the go since, as Nick said, 1911. And, is the leading horticultural charity in the north of England.
So when you were show director, what sort of things did you give to charity? What was it, individuals or was it groups starting a garden? Or
it's a mixture of both. I mean, some of the charity work is within the show, because if you are financing the specialist societies to be there, then that is giving back to those societies and those groups. But it used to be you'd give to community projects across the north of England, school projects. We'd fund new exhibitors to come and do something, or new designers. So it's quite broad, really, where, as Nick says, anything gardening or horticultural related in the north they'd be interested in. So and it all feeds into the show, so it's great. And of course, the patron is the king. When we were there, he was still the Prince of Wales. He became the patron, I think. It was a centenary year, wasn't it? Yes. 2011 he became patron, and he's stayed with it, which is great. And he's king.
But he's never visited.
No, he hasn't.
I mean, if you're listening, Your Majesty, it's a great place to
come. He probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we send him the link every week.
Yeah.
And if you've got time to do a review, Your Majesty,
that'd be really
honoured.
good. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Oh, but so it sounds like it's a fabulous show, and it's coming up soon, isn't it?
It is, yes. We're going to find out more about it in a minute from Nick, but the show dates, it's only a couple of weeks away. It's the Friday the 19th to Sunday the 21st, and it's a brilliant setting. If you've never been to Newby Hall in North Yorkshire, that combined with the show and the gardens, it really is perfect.
Good stuff. Well, look, we've got some questions from some of our listeners and viewers, which we're going to come to in a moment. Just a reminder for you, if you're listening, that you can send your questions in. So we love to have a photo as well. So if you're sending in your questions, tell us a couple of things. We just need to know roughly where you are in the world, because if we start giving you advice about it's coming up to autumn and you're in New Zealand, then that's probably not going to work. So just where you are in the world, what the problem is, or even if it's not a problem, you want to share that you've got a beautiful, bountiful bouquet of bougainvilleas.
Bougainvillea, whatever, Sean. But
Spot the novice.
No.
Do share that with us.
Yeah, share your successes with us.
Yeah, and if you've got questions, do send them in, and info@pots&trowels.com. Where are we starting this week then? Where should we go?
Well, we've had a question. This is coming through YouTube.
This is good. Series 3, Martin asks his own questions.
Yeah, I know, because I haven't given it to anybody else.
Jill and I can go and get a cup of tea.
It's the Sweet William one. We did a video quite a while ago on Sweet Williams, and somebody's picked up, no name unfortunately, but you might recognise yourself as SSHK2487, wants to know if it's too late to sow Sweet William seed. And I'm assuming this is in England. You are right at the limit, because Sweet William is the lovely early summer flowering biennial, really sort of traditional cottage garden plant. So you grow them the first season, they flower in the second season. And normally you would be sowing them in June, July time to get nice bushy plants to put out in the garden now. They would overwinter, and then they will flower next late May, June into July. But I reckon that if you were to get some seed and sow it now, because we're only in the first week of September, we've had glorious weather and it's still nice and warm, good day length. Sow it maybe in some seed trays, prick them out, grow them on maybe in small pots or bigger cell trays. And if you can give them a bit of protection, then I think you'll get decent sized plants that you could plant out early spring next year. And then hopefully they would catch up. They might not be quite as big, but I think you would still get some flowers.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, there you go. So that's a classic example of tell us where you are, isn't it, really? Yeah, so I'll try and remember to link that. Yes.
Well, I've had a bit of feedback from Alison. Now, Alison had a bit of a problem with the rose a while ago, and we answered her question on the podcast. And this is Alison from Polterton. So thanks for getting back to us, Alison. Sorry we've been, obviously, had our break over August. So this is the first chance we've we've had to reply back to you. So at the time when Alison was writing, it was rainy in Polterton, which was in the middle of our heat wave. So as she said, every little helps then, but hopefully that will change from now onwards. But she just wants to say a huge thank you for your much appreciated advice, Martin.
Oh, thank you.
And she sent us a photo of her rose, Eustacia Vi, and it's now blooming beautifully. There's still the odd bald bud, but loads more to unfold, and the blooms are so beautifully perfumed. She cut them back as you suggested. And it's done the trick. She was about to dig them up, so she's very grateful for the advice.
Never dig them up.
No.
Good,
Always
glad to hear.
Well
Thanks for that, Alison.
I just want to point something out to people who are not watching. We are sitting in the garden at Martin and Jill's, or Pots and Trowels HQ, and we've got the parasol above us, which occasionally is creaking, and I'm just slightly, because I've got my headphones on, I'm thinking sometimes it might sound like we're aboard ship.
Oh, right.
So apart from the lapping of the waves, which isn't
I thought it was my knee.
there's that little creaking sound. If you're wondering what that is, it's breezy. There we go. And the parasol's just blowing around a little bit.
Yes.
We've had a message from Pauline over in New York. This is the apple one we just mentioned earlier. Thank you for the pruning advice. This is about our apple special, which was a video that went out not last week, I think it was the week before.
Yeah.
Timely as always. Sadly, all my Bramleys have either dropped off or have the rot. It's difficulty of growing the tree in New York in very sandy soil, but to lose all of the apples was very sad. Is there anything she can do about
Well, obviously not for this year, Pauline. I think the sandy soil hasn't helped, and I'm assuming you probably had the hot, dry weather over there in New York, because I think you're quite coastal as well where you are. So you probably had that effect of the hot, dry weather, sandy soil, and that the apples have fallen off. We've got, you can't see it, I don't think, but over there's a big Bramley apple in the garden, and I would think half the fruit has probably fallen off.
Yeah.
Good size. In fact, there's trays and trays of it round the corner, Sean, if you want to take some.
Might do, yeah.
Some of it is perfectly okay, but I think it's just heat stress this year. The tree can't take in enough water to sort of sustain it all, so some fall off prematurely. But they're perfectly okay to eat. They're cooking apple, cook them, bit of sugar in there, great for pies and crumbles and that type of thing. We've also had the brown rot as well, which you don't normally get in a dry summer, but it's there. And again, I think that because the trees are just that little bit stressed. So we've still got quite a few on there. So is there anything you can do about it? Well, if you were in England, I would say pop in and we'll give you a bucket full, but you can't do that. I think you've got to just plan for next year. And what you need to try and do is to make the soil around the base of your apple tree more moisture retentive. So, maybe when you've had some autumn rains and the soil is nice and damp, then put on a good thick mulch of compost or sort of very fine bark you could use. Feed the tree a little bit with some potash, because that builds it up, sulphate of potash. So it's all about preparing it for next year. And fingers crossed, we might get a bit more rain, and that mulch will just seal in a little bit of the moisture. So you will be able to pick a few apples and make apple pie.
Superb.
Nice.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, Martin.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, because on holiday, my son decided he was going to buy us a packet of seeds, and he bought Venus flytrap seeds.
All right.
He's very excited. I thought there's no way these will grow. They've been sitting on a market stall in very hot sunshine.
Yeah.
Guess what?
They're growing.
They're growing. So I got some plant grow compost, mixed it in with a bit of Mickey-like, because I thought that would help with the drainage.
Very
I
good.
feel like I'm learning things.
Yeah.
Then I've put it in a pot, and we kept them moist, and we got
And
seedlings.
they've germinated really well.
Yeah. So, well, my question is, when should we thin them? Assuming we should thin them out. I'll show people who are watching this on YouTube. I'll put this video, bit of photograph up. And if so, then what do we do next?
I mean, it's great they've germinated, because I always thought they were quite slow to germinate. There's a little bit at the back of my mind just doubting if they are the Venus flytrap, because I just think that, well, it's not what I remember seeing the seedlings of, but I might be wrong. It's difficult to see on a little thing, so I think we need to watch this space. But you might have something really interesting anyway.
It could sort of very interesting. Might have the law enforcement people are interested if we're not careful. Watch this space.
Yeah.
This will be the latest kind of weekly, monthly check-in on.
Are Venus flytraps as hardy as some of the Sarracenias?
They will. I don't think they're as hardy.
No.
But they will stand some frost on them, so you can grow them in a cold greenhouse. But so exciting.
And one other thing is our latest video is about lavender cuttings.
It is, yes.
And I happened to do some last year. And again, for those
Shame.
watching the video, will hopefully see that was taken from a cutting and last year. And
Right.
So yeah, and
I've got that on my list again. Do you think I ought to scrub it off?
No, it needs to come up. We need to talk about it, don't we?
Yeah.
Because not everybody's seen our videos, so
No,
we'll come
not
to
at
that.
all.
But anyway, we will be coming to some jobs shortly in the podcast. But we need to go back to Nick, don't we?
We do, yeah. Catch up from Nick. Nick, the show this year here at Newby Hall, the Harrogate Autumn Flower Show, is Friday the 19th to Sunday the 21st of September. So tell us, what can we expect to see here?
Well, I think just looking around you, first of all, the setting. I mean, the setting is just incredible here at Newby Hall, these beautiful gardens. But what's even more exciting from our point of view, we've got a 160-metre floral pavilion, which will be cram-packed full of nurseries, societies, garden advice, all these things that are key to what gardeners, amateur and professional, really like to be part of. So again, we've said that celebration of the season, this is very much it, saying, look, what have we achieved, what have we done? And we'll find an absolute smorgasbord of things that people have actually achieved. Beautiful things in the garden.
And that's one of the things that you, as the Flower Shows and the North of England Horticultural Society, have always done, is support the specialist societies, you know, your chrysanthemums, your vegetables, your dahlias, your gladioli, and you've always given them an awful lot of support, haven't you?
We do, you know, and we try to do that across to general societies as well, just to make sure that everyone is getting a part of that. Allotment societies and various groups and things like that, because we want to make sure that everyone can be part of what we do. And that's the joy of being able to host a show in the middle of September when produce is high and, you know, there's still lovely borders, still lovely flowers everywhere. So it's a great time to us to really just say, look, isn't this fantastic?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned earlier, I feel it's a little bit like a giant harvest festival, because when you see all those amazing dahlias and gladioli, and you go into the one where the giant veg are. So have you got giant veg this year, or have you got the heaviest onion competition again?
We've got all of that and more. We've got the National Onion Championships, which are always an absolute winner. We haven't broken the record for the last couple of years, but we're hoping that something might beat the 19 pounds and 7 ounce onion that we got a couple of years ago. There's the pumpkins, there's everything you can imagine, but there's also, take that down to a very basic level, we've got children's entries, we've got young person's entries, we've got a whole range of things that are encouraging a new generation of gardeners, which is so important now. So we're building a school garden in the middle of the show. There are many things that we're doing that are just trying to encourage people to say gardening's for everyone, not just for certain people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be all inclusive, and it's all about getting the younger people there, the next generation of people that will come and visit the shows, aren't they? And it's also ideal time to buy plants, isn't it? And there's going to be a whole range of nurseries with lots of different types of plants here.
It is, and you know that phrase, great gardens begin in the autumn, we should be sharing that across the board, because it is the great time. The heat of the summer is over. Let's think about planting. We've seen what grows in the garden, what doesn't grow in the garden. Let's think about now planting in the autumn to get great gardens for next year. And we've got such a range of plants, bulbs, seeds. It's all here for people to enjoy.
Yeah, and talks, demonstrations. It's a place where people can come and learn.
It absolutely is. We've got your good self. We're very happy to have you on the grow stage leading that. But we've got the human gardener with their slightly wacky but fascinating views into what goes on in the background of horticulture. But we've also got, this year, we've got the Maker's Table, which is all about picking, preserving, just doing different things with your produce and your harvest. So we've got a great range of speakers. But again, the word is advice. There is such a fountain of advice, both from the Grow Theatre and yourselves and all the team there, but the Garden Advice Bureau is there as well. There's such a wide range of things that you can just pick up tips, pick up knowledge. That means you don't have to go onto a computer and get something that you're not quite sure about.
Yeah, and all the nurseries are specialists as well. So, you know, if you've got a problem with a fuchsia or a bonsai, the people are here that grow them, that can give you that advice. So
and they absolutely know that. You know, it's literally the horse's mouth. So it's brilliant to be able to get that.
So that's all the show, which is at the front of this hall. I mean, the hall is magnificent, and we're going to put some pictures on so you can have a look at the hall and the gardens. But as well as the show, it also gets them entry into part of the house and the gardens, doesn't it?
It does indeed, and we're very fortunate. Lucinda Compton, who has the house here, allows us to utilise the ground floor rooms of the house, which we take over. This year we've got the fantastic Jonathan Mosley taking over the ground floor rooms and creating the Country House Weekend in Floral Art, which we're absolutely looking forward to, because it's a beautiful house, Chippendale furniture, beautiful tapestries and artwork. So we feel that's going to look stunning in itself, but also to come through the house into these fantastic, 25 acres of formal gardens. It is just a beautiful, beautiful site. And I think to have all of that as part of your ticket, the gardens, the house and our fantastic autumn flower show, really for us just makes a perfect package to enjoy an autumn day.
Absolutely, yeah, because you can spend a day in the garden anyway. So, it is a full day to do the show, the house and the garden. So anybody wanting to come, so can they turn up on the day or can they buy tickets in advance? How do they go about that, Nick?
They can do either. You can either book online by visiting www.flowershow.org.uk, or you can turn up at the gate and you'll be able to buy a ticket there. Either way, great value ticket, and we really want everyone to come along and enjoy a fantastic day.
Yeah, it is a lovely show. I always think it's a great end to the season as well. After a busy show season, this sort of it all culminates here with all the lovely fruit, veg, the flowers, that lovely autumn feel, and this amazing garden, which is great, isn't it? So
it's beautiful.
I suppose I really ought to let you get back to the office and do a bit more planning.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for talking to us.
I really hope they break the record for the onion, the heaviest onion. It is amazing when you see them.
Huge.
Because Nick said it was £19 7 ounces. Now you can convert that.
I think
Sean.
that, well, just off the top of my head, it's 2.2 pounds to a kilo, I think is right. So it's like about 9 kilos. That's heavy.
That's
really heavy.
It is big. And but they have special scales and everything to weigh them, don't they? Well, you'll know this, having done this in the past, because you had a couple of record breakers.
When I was there, we had a couple of and I think then it was about £15.5. So it just shows that over the years, these growers are getting them bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's very prestigious to win the giant onion trophy.
Well, and it's money as well, isn't it? Because they then get the seed from having that record, and then people want to buy that specific seed, don't they? So it's a bit of a coup, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a reminder, if you've got a question for us, drop us an email, info@pots&trowels.com. Give us a little brief idea of where you are in the world and send us photos. We got some jobs for this week.
We have, yes, absolutely. So, one of them is lavender, which you've shown us already, your amazing results with lavender. We could be swapping seats in a year or two, and I could be the techie, you could be the guy.
I still have the feeling that a tiny bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing.
If you say it with enough confidence.
Yes.
I felt that for the last 50 years. So, no, if you are thinking of taking any lavenders from cuttings, if you want some more, we're going to do some because I want some more on a new border we're going to plant at the front next spring. Perfect time to take cuttings, and you just need a small shoot, just 2-3 inches long of this year's growth. Strip off the lower leaves and put them in some pots of compost, and they root outside at this time of the year. You could do them on a cool windowsill and you'll get nice little bushy plants like the one Sean got that you can then put out into the garden the following year. In fact, there is a video, we have done a video on this, which is out now, I do believe. So if you want a reminder, then have a look at it, the Pots and Trowels video that's out now. It's still very dry where we are. We've had very little in the way of rain. We've had a few short, sharp showers, but the soil is still bone dry. I think it almost evaporates on contact. So make sure if you've got roses, because we've already talked about roses, they do need that moisture. And if you can give the roots a good soak in, then they'll keep flowering right the way through until the end of this month or even into October. So it's worth just giving them that soak in. Hedge trimming, I've been busy hedge trimming. So if you've got conifer hedges, box shapes, that type of thing. If you do it now, we're into September, give them a really nice tidy up. They hold that shape all the way through the autumn, winter, and don't start to grow again until next spring. So just tidies them up and makes them look good. And then I'm a little bit late. We've been talking about being late with Sweet Williams. I'm a little bit late sowing my sweet, I was going to say sweet cabbage, my spring cabbage. Because normally I like to get it in about mid-August.
I do like my spring
cabbage. So I am, 2, possibly 3 weeks late, but I'm going to risk it. Because I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to start them off in plug trays in the greenhouse. And, I think that we're still getting good light levels. If we get a good germination, I'll still have nice, strong plants to go out about mid-October under a cloche, and then they'll overwinter outside. So still time if you haven't done it. It's worth a go.
Superb stuff. Well, look, just a reminder for next week, we've got Beech Grove Gardeners on, which is very exciting stuff. But that's probably about it.
It is, yes. And if you are planning a visit to the Harrogate Autumn Flower Show at Newby Hall, come and say hello. We'll be on the Grow stage, so come and say hello. It'd be nice to see you.
Absolutely.
But we'll be back next week.
We will look forward to it.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Watch the videos on YouTube or Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter or X, and subscribe to the podcast and never miss a thing. For more information, go to potsandtrowels.com.